Hello everyone, and welcome to Karenia's Room. So it's kind of a nice calm night here, just on the 10th, my apologies, of March 2023, and I'm consuming an interesting beer that, if you ever see a beer called as it's in the French, I guess, Duchesse de Burgundy, I'm Canadian, but my French is terrible, or the Duchess of Burgundy, I recommend that one for sure. It's interesting, it's a sour beer in a sense. Whatever. That's not the point of this video. The actual point of this video is to discuss what I will be watching for spring of 2023. Now, as I made clear in my last video, I had to add 6 shows that I'd been more or less eagerly watching for this season. And I did say that I would add some extra shows if I felt the need to do so. But a quick rundown of some of the stuff that I did say that I would watch is I had Vinland Saga Season 2, and so far we are on episode 9 or 10, something like that, and I'm quite enjoying it. The Farmland arc, as I hear, is a bit of a mixed bag with certain people, but I think it's great, so no complaints from me. Then there was also Season 2 of Nagatoro, which is adapting a fair amount of chapters that I do enjoy, and so far I'm still liking that. Then I said Bofuri Season 2, which it's fine. I don't really have any complaints all that much about it, but I'd say it's probably the weakest show that I decided to initially watch. Then we have The Vampire Dies in No Time Season 2, show that's just giving me a barrel of laughs. I love it every time. And then we have Agretsuko Season 5, which I'm only up to episode 4 right now, but so far it is quite fun. And I'm not sure if there was anything else that I said I was going to watch in the video, but out of the stuff that I did not add in the video that were maybes, were stuff like Inukai-san's Dog, which I'm watching because I need at least one trash per season, and oh my god, it is trash. But it's like one of those, it's like a bloody car wreck, right? You see a bloody car wreck, bodies mangled, metal crushed, but you can't look away. It just gets worse and worse, but you can't put yourself away. And oh, sometimes that's just the best kind of thing. Now, what I will say is, do not watch this show. Please don't. I'm only doing it for your suffering and my suffering. But onto some more positive stuff. Nier Automata. So far, I've been quite enjoying up to about episode 5 or 6, I think we're at right now. There was a bit of a delay with scheduling, which, they claim was COVID and whatever. I don't know if it is, so I won't comment on that. And then it's a similar situation with another show that I picked up, which I quite enjoy, which I mentioned, was Kubo. Kubo-san Won't Let Me Be Invisible. I fell in love with this show. It is currently on hiatus, and I'm very sad about that, but I am reading the manga, so very nice. And finally, was recommended to me by a viewer on my previous video, was The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten, which I am also enjoying that. So to that commenter, thank you very much for recommending me just some nice, simple, goofy romance, and I'm here for it. Thank you so much. But enough of the rambling here, because it's been 4 minutes into the video. Let's get into the stuff that I will be watching of next season. The only caveat I will say is that I will be taking suggestions for anything that you might think would be interesting, but I will say certain shows, if you do recommend them, if they're sequels, I will have to let you know if I have seen them or not. But the ones that I know I definitely have not seen are stuff like the new upcoming sequel for Dr. Stone, and sequels for, Ancient Magus' Bride, or Ranking of Kings, stuff like that. I haven't seen those. But anyway, if you have any recommendations, put them in the comments and we'll go from there. But for the stuff that I will be watching, here's my list. So, I have broken it down into 2 sections of shows that I definitely will be watching, and a section of stuff that I maybe will watch. Some of the maybes are more reluctant, and some of them are more, it looks pretty good, so maybe I'll give it a shot. Starting in the ones that I definitely will be watching though, Demon Slayer Swordsmith Village arc. Now, I have been keeping up with Demon Slayer ever since season 1. I think it ended when I first started watching it, and then I just binged it. And I quite enjoyed it. You know, I hear people say that they don't like Demon Slayer a lot and certain characters and whatever. Like, I'm with you on the Zenitsu camp. I find anime Zenitsu very insufferable. You know, no hate to Hiroshimono, the VA, and whatever. But, oh my god, he sells it so perfectly that it makes you just want to, like, rip your ears off. Like, but manga Zenitsu, at least, I won't say too much, but at least he gets better, you know? But this is the arc of the Swordsmith Village, which I have read the manga the whole way through, so I kind of know the basic gist. But they go to a swordsmith village, all about crafting swords, and obviously we're going to meet some demons along the way as advertised in the trailers, because we have two interesting ones, which are two of the more top demons, like Doma, who visually is one of my favorites of the upper demons. I love him so much, and it'll be good for anime onlys to experience him, and Kokushibo, which I won't get into spoilers about him, but he is actually quite very important, so keep that in mind as you are watching. I don't really have much to say about the arc, because it has been a while since I finished the manga, but I will say there's one particular scene around the beginning that I'm with Mitsuri, the pigtail girl with the open chest and whatever, who is in the main group of sword fighters. I want to see how they animate that, because I know people were getting in a bit of a tizzy about that particular scene. But that's just neither here nor there. I'll be watching this one for certain, and if you are a fan of Demon Slayer, I probably would say, obviously, to watch this one. However, now let's move on to the next show that I will definitely be watching in this season, and that is Tonikaku Kawaii / Tonikawa Over the Moon for You Season 2. The basic summary for those who may not have seen the show, because it aired kind of back in 2020 and it's not super popular. There's a boy named NASA, yes, like the literal space station NASA stuff, who gets into an accident one day when he's coming home from a convenience store or something like that. Gets in an accident, and he meets with a mysterious girl who's kind of in his periphery as he's maybe falling in and out of consciousness, about to die. And she does help him, and I guess there was a proposal that they were going to date, or that he wanted to date her, and she said that she would date him if they became a married couple, more or less. It's a terrible explanation, but I'm sure it makes as much sense as my explanation as it does in the actual story. It's a bit strange. However, it is a very nice, wholesome story of like fun married couples, just a couple of awkward teenagers, essentially, figuring out their life as a married couple. The art is very cute. It's just very, it's really low stakes, and it's just something that you can read and you won't have to really think about too much, which is kind of more of my wheelhouse. I like stuff like that, like Tonikaku Kawaii, and more chill stuff like Takagi and Akapi Sailor Uniform. All these kind of just really chill things. So this is getting a season 2. It has been in the works, I guess, for a little bit here. We've gotten one OVA since season 1, and there's supposed to be some other kind of OVA coming out or something like that as well. But season 2 is coming out first, and I'm excited for it. If you have seen Tonikawa, do let me know, because I do think it's a great series, and I have been meaning to pick the manga back up again, because I did kind of drop it for a while, but I'll pick it up maybe eventually when I have some more time, because I just also started picking up the manga for Bocchi the Rock, Spy Family, and Kubo-san. I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, let's move on with the next show that I will be watching, which is the Konosuba spin-off for Megumin, which is, I think, Konosuba, an explosion of this wonderful world. It is a spin-off light novel of the original Konosuba series, which we haven't seen an installment of Konosuba, like anime or OVA or movie, anything, since 2019. So this is quite the treat. This is a series that I have a peripheral understanding of what it is, based on both the poster and what I've seen of it. And like the poster has Megumin in this kind of what do you call it, like a school uniform, so I guess it's something to do with her magic school, because I've seen in the credits too, you got Yun, you got her sister, and a couple other of these people that you've seen in, I think, the anime and the movie, and there's all these other Crimson Demons and whatever. I don't know, I haven't read the spin-off, I haven't even read the Konosuba light novel, so I don't know, but I should be fine with this. I have no complaints to watch this, and I just hope it's good. And I know that there's a Konosuba Season 3 in the productions, but so far we haven't gotten any confirmation of when that'll be. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. If you have any information about this show, please don't tell me. I want to go in blind. And let's move on to the next show on this list, which is another thing I don't know anything about, but I hear is pretty popular, and that is Oshinoko, or I think it's something like My Star, if I remember correctly from MyAnimeList, which, from the basic understanding of the plot synopsis, is that there is an idol named Ai, and life as an idol is obviously not something that is very easy, and there's a fateful encounter with some kind of doctor, I don't know, who ends up dying, quote-unquote, but the death is essentially a reincarnation, and this doctor who gets to know Ai is reborn as her son. Did I forget to mention she was pregnant? Very interesting plot line. That's a rough estimate from what I got based on the descriptions that Mal has given, but, I mean, it doesn't sound too bad. The rating of the manga is pretty high, at about 8.53 last I checked, and I don't really know anything about this. I know it's a Dogakobo show, so that gives me a little bit more excitement, because I love stuff like that Dogakobo has made, stuff like New Game, Himoto Umaru-chan to some lesser extent, and Gabriel Dropout. Like, stuff like that is fantastic, but they've also made stuff like My Senpai's Annoying and Plastic Memories. Good stuff. Anyway, I don't know anything about this. Going in blind. I hope it's good. We'll see. But I'm hopeful. What I'm also hopeful for, though, Season 2 of Kuma Bear. And yes, that is the very name of the show. So this is Season 2 of the show, which aired in 2020, around the end of 2020, I believe. And it is a similar thing to Bofuri. There's a girl who's playing a online role-playing game of sorts, and she's very good at it, I guess, and the devs give her a sort of boost, in a sense, for being such a good player. Now, whether or not that's the perfect description of the story, I don't know, but as you can see in the poster, it is a bear onesie, which, initially she's kind of reluctant on because it's a little embarrassing, but it is revealed that it is definitely a strong source of her power, or a stronger sense of power that's gained by wearing this suit, and it kind of just becomes part of her identity. Now this one, it has been a while since I've watched this one as well, because it ended in around 2020, but I do have a vague memory of this show. It's just a very simple, it's kind of Bofuri in a sense, just like a video game online that they're playing in and whatever, with like one gimmick where Maples in Bofuri is that she is basically the Giga Tank, and she doesn't want to take damage, and she gains all these uber powerful skills, whereas Yuna, the main girl in the bear costume, she gets the bear costume and she's like super strong. It is what it is. Everything else, I don't really know what I can say about it. A lot of the characters are kind of meh, except for the other main girl that you can see in the poster here, called Fina. She just kind of tags along with Yuna. She sees her as like a big sister kind of thing, and it's just kind of like dumb fantasy gaming fun. I don't know. It kind of itches a little bit for me. I do think it's an interesting thing, but it's definitely not the most looked forward to show of this list. But I did say I would be watching this since I heard the announcement. if you want to watch Kuma Bear, I don't know if you'll like it. Maybe you will, but I think it's good anyway. And my opinion is rock solid. On to the second to last show on my confirmed list is a show called Otonari no Ginga, or I forget the English title because I didn't write it down on my notes here. The basic plot synopsis is that there is a man who is looking after his two younger siblings after their parents have died, and he is trying to support them through just pure willpower on his skills as a mangaka. And it is really just pardon for bumping the mic, it is kind of driving him to the brink of just pure exhaustion and whatever, and he has just almost at his wit's end until he meets a rather random encounter with a mysterious girl who rescues the ailing mangaka, and as the description basically says, becomes his sort of fictional play wife, because I don't think they get engaged. I've not read the source material, so I don't know. But it just sounds like kind of like interesting romance subtext dynamic kind of thing here. And the art style looks pretty nice. So I thought I would give it a chance. I don't have much to say about that one, but I hope it's interesting. And if not, whatever, it's fine. And the final one that I will definitely be watching is a show called The Blue Orchestra. Now, when I first read the description on Mal, my mind was immediately jumping to Your Lie in April. Like the beginning, synopsis plot. Because in the similar thing with Your Lie in April, where you have the main boy who's a piano prodigy, but a family situation, i.e. the death of his rather abusive mother, drives him to step away and not want anything to do with the piano. In a similar situation, there is a similar thing where the main boy of the Blue Orchestra, who is a violin player, just drops violin and wants nothing to do with it and lives a normal school life after, I don't remember the situation, what it is. But in both situations, they are plucked out of this this depression by this mysterious Genki girl who will essentially reignite their passion for music. And I'm sure the stories will devolve from there. They're not going to be the same thing, because otherwise that'd be kind of boring. But, I'm a sucker for music anime, and the plot synopsis sounds kind of interesting to me. So this is another one. I don't know anything of the source material, so I'm kind of going in blind and hoping that it's good, because I usually have good things to say about music anime, and so far I've yet to be disappointed, honestly. The art style looks fine, and let's just hope it's good. And then finally, let's get on to the shows that are in the maybe category. These are shows that I either am considering watching and I'm just not quite sure yet, so I'll have to check out an episode and see, or ones that I'm considering just for some kind of, I need some kind of trash to watch, because there's usually that one show in the season that's trash. For this one, it is definitely Inukai. But for next season, we have two contenders anyway. But before we get into those ones, let's get into some of the ones that are more lighthearted, I guess, per se. The first one I have on my list is a show called The Dangers in My Heart, and which, from the plot description, and which I had deduced, it essentially boils down to, it's going to be a similar situation with Takagi, where you'll have a teasing couple, but instead of one of them playing pranks on each other, the main boy is apparently someone who dreams of murder against this one girl, but they don't go through with that, obviously, because it's a simple comedy romance series, and that would be way too much. But from what I hear, it basically kind of boils down pretty quickly, and it just becomes, simple tease anime, blah blah blah. So that's why it's kind of on a maybe, because I'm kind of on the fence about it. I've watched a fair few of these shows now, like Takagi, like Uzaki, Kubo-san now, and maybe with this one we'll see. I don't know. For some reason I'm kind of into these shows. I don't know what it is. It's subconscious, I guess. But that's just one on there on the maybe list. Also on the particular maybe trash list, we have a show called Megami no Cafe Terrace, or something like the Cafe Goddess thing. I don't know. I know the word Megami is usually used for something like goddess, but that's about it. And this one is essentially kind of, this man inherits a cafe, which is staffed by 5 beautiful anime girls, and it is probably some kind of trashy harem ecchi situation, because it is tagged as ecchi. And, you know, I'll give it a shot, because I always need one trashy show, and this seems maybe like that. But I mean, hey, we got some casting in here that I actually know some people in, so that's always good. As far as trash goes, I mean, it seems like it would be kind of trashy. And in similar scope to the trashiness, we have a show that does not seem to have an English title on MyAnimeList, but has the synonym, which is the shortened form, something like Hiroaka, you know? Is called KamiKatsu. The full name is something like Kami Naki Sekai no Kami-sama Katsu, whatever that means, okay? Look, I'm a white Canadian, I don't know Japanese. The description basically reads as some kind of strange plot about, I don't know, some weird fantasy world where religion plays some kind of role, and it's weird and doesn't make sense to me. All I recognize is that it's kind of a generic looking isekai show. The only real thing that ever stands out is the one in the poster, which is this very chaotic looking lolly, voiced by the lovely Akari Kito, who's behind such roles as Nezuko, if you can even call that a vocal role. But that's who voices this one, her name is Mitama something, I don't know. Doesn't matter though. It's tagged as an ecchi, and it's tagged as an isekai, so it should be interesting anyway. And it could be trashy, because the source material itself is not very highly rated. But who knows? I don't know. I'm trying. Sorry, part of me is trying to check this out on Mal, but for some reason Mal is completely shitting its pants, so we're going to ignore it for now. We have 2 more shows in the maybe category, and these are more actually kind of cheerful and decent shows, not ones that I'm looking forward to for trash. So the first one I'm going to say is a show called Kawaisugi Crisis, or in English is Too Cute Crisis, which the basic plot line is that there is an alien girl, who you see here on the screen, with the name Liza, Liza, Luna, who comes down to Earth, and she wants to initially have nothing to do with the planet of Earth and wants to destroy it, but she's basically convinced by one of the things that can probably melt any alien girl's heart, and that is a cat cafe, which is just a lovely little building full of cats. And I'm guessing by that plot synopsis alone, she is going to spend most of her time playing with cats, and maybe working in there too, I don't know. It's very... I mean, it just looks like something you can watch and just relax. Doesn't look like anything very high stakes, which, again, kind of my thing. I'm not really a huge guy that's into, like, big mecha fights and all your battle shonens like My Hero and Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen and all that stuff. Now, granted, I've watched a few of those. Like, I've seen season 1 so far of My Hero Academia, and I've seen all of Demon Slayer and stuff like that. But this kind of stuff is more in my wheelhouse. I don't know anything about the source material, but it looks cute, and it looks fun, and it's just... I have nothing really else to say about it. I hope it's good. And finally, though, I will say our last show on the list is a show, which, let me just get the title here again, is called My Clueless First Friend. And it's kind of a wholesome show about a wallflower girl. This more dark, like, hair swoopy over the eyes kind of girl. And, you know, she's kind of a wallflower, doesn't have a lot of friends. People see her as kind of scary. But there's a boy here, this main boy here with the brown hair, who breaks through her shell and basically seeks to become her best friend. And there's a bit of teasing that goes along, because, of course, you gotta have that in these shows. But it just seems like it's another one of these ones where it's just, you know, it's not, like, aggressive like Usaki or Nagatoro. It's more cute, in a sense. Kind of like Takagi or Kubo-san. Which, by the way, go watch Kubo-san. It's fantastic, and it really sucks that it's not coming back for months. Ugh, damn delays. But other than that, I haven't read the source material for this My Clueless First Friend. I just saw the art, and it looks really cute. It's very, I don't know how you describe it, but it's not like the other ones we just talked about, like Too Cute Crisis, where that looks a lot more anime-ish, that you're like your typical modern day shows. It looks a little different, and I'm all here for it. So I hope that's good. And yeah, that's actually the whole list. I realize I've rambled on here for nearly 27 minutes. So I'm going to try to not do that for the next video, but no guarantees. Anyway, as I said earlier in the video before, if you have any recommendations that I have not mentioned, please leave them in the comments below, because as I'm recording this on the 10th of March, there always could be new shows added to the list. For both my watch list and also for the stuff that's airing in the season, because the season hasn't started yet. So things could always get added, I don't know, and maybe if I miss it, you can let me know. But anyway, that's it for the end of this video, and all I can say is I hope you guys are going to have a good day. I hope you guys are taking care of yourself this year in 2023, and yeah, that's about it. My name is Karenia, and always remember, you are always welcome in Karenia's room. Ciao!